Welcome to All Four Downs, part of CMG Central. I am Joe Aguirre. We'll be joined in just a minute by Ovi Muniz. A lot going down in first down. We're going to break down all the news for you. Will Bryce Young play and so much more. Plus, we're going to take a look in first down at each of the conference standings. We'll tell you what stands out. Of course, with our lessons learned, don't believe the hype. We'll have some scenarios for you there. Second down, we're looking at our Heisman top 10. Third down, OV's top 10 through week 7. And fourth down, we'll do the picks. Ovi went 10-1 last week. And speaking of Alabama, Nick Saban, that will be my final whistle on today's episode. Oh, boy, Ovi.
Alabama, I can't believe you're really going to end with Nick Saban. I'm just anxious to know.
I got to. Listen, I love Nick Saban. I do. But I like people that are reasonable. And sometimes Nick Saban, I think, is a little entitled.
I mean, he's a legendary coach, and you're right. I mean, we could say the same thing with Bill Belichick in the NFL, right? Now sure. It's slipping away, and then looking at other coaches. But in college football, man, you just don't mess with Nick Saban. When he speaks, it's like everything's golden for him.
Yeah, it's always golden for him. But Alabama's not the only college football program.
No, it's not. Not. And speaking about the only first down, we're gonna start with first down, man, because there's some intriguing news that could make a big difference here, especially with Kansas quarterback Heisman hopeful Jalen Daniels out this week. Reports were saying that he was supposed to be out for the remainder of the season. Now they're backtracking, so it's unknown as to how long he will be out without playing. Also, Bryce Young is hopeful that he will start versus Tennessee. If I was Nick Saban, I think you put him to start if he could throw the ball. I don't think you want to play games about it, because this game is make it or break it for Alabama. We're going to talk about that later on third down on our picks. So you'd be interested to see who I'm picking on this one. And then my prayers and everything goes out to Mike Hart. Hopefully he has a safe recovery. During the Michigan-Indiana game in the first quarter, he went down after the first Indiana touchdown, and what happened was he suffered a seizure.
Scary.
Cameras were focused on all the running backs in Michigan. A lot of emotions, but they regrouped and they were able to defeat Indiana. No timetable as when he's going to go back to coaching, but hopefully that he has a safe recovery. So, I mean, that's, you like a Harbaugh said, man, you got to put football to the side and be like, look, it's not about the game anymore. It's about, the person's health and everything, because, man, it's shocking, and it's just a wake up call for everybody of us that we need to check ourselves, make sure we're healthy and everything else.
Oh, 100%. This is that moment when you sort of take the helmets off for a minute. You realize that you're dealing with human beings, and, unfortunate situation. Hopefully, thank God he's healing.
Right.
Better.
Glad it wasn't a worst case scenario. But when you see a coach getting stretched carted off the field like that, you see football players, but you don't see coaches. So they're more fragile. But hey, interesting to note. We need to check out every conference that there is, man. Okay. And once again, big shout out to Hector Vasquez. Family over football. Absolutely, man. Family's always a plus. But speaking about football, here we go with the standings. We got Cincinnati in the lead in the American Athletic Conference. They're tied with Tulane. Big surprise there. They're both 5-1. Interesting to see whether or not Tulane could go ahead and knock out Cincinnati. As you know, Cincinnati is the defending champions in the AAC. In the ACC, we got Clemson in the lead over Syracuse. Your Syracuse Orangemen.
How about Hughes, baby? Yeah, looking real good.
5-0, man. They got a big challenge against NC State. More to follow on that game. On the coastal side, we got North Carolina. They're handling business over there. Interesting to see there. And the Big 12, Kansas State Wildcats 3-0. It's shocking, right? But Oklahoma State, TCU, I'm not counting out Kansas, and definitely don't count out Texas. All right. Matter of fact, even Baylor, let's add Baylor to the mix because anything can happen in the Big 12. It seems like everyone's getting hungry to chase for that title. In the Big 10, Michigan.
You definitely count Oklahoma out.
Oh, man, don't go there, man. Oh. Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State. It's deja vu all over again. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan and Ohio State finish undefeated, waiting for that Thanksgiving game, that last game of the regular season, to see who will come on top in the East. On the West side, you got Illinois, Purdue, Nebraska. Man, didn't they just fire their head coach?
Scott Frost? They're getting hot now. It's
wow.
Time 2-0 since Scott Frost got the boot.
Man, I guess it was worth it. It was worth it. And the Conference USA, UTSA Rome Runners. That's right. San Antonio, Texas. They're in the house, 2-0. But North Texas Mean Green, they're right behind them. The Independent League, Liberty's 5-1, but everyone's always looking at Notre Dame. They're starting to get the groove of things, but they are not ranked as of yet. And
You're not
the
match them Uconn Huskies playing some decent football these days.
You know what? I can't disrespect my Uconn Huskies. They won back-to-back games for the first time in a while, but they still got their hands full. But I'm gonna tell you what. They ain't going to help them when they go down to Clemson. I'm just telling you that right now.
No, it's going to be bad.
But I am interested to see UConn versus Army. That's the game I want to see. And that's going to be at West Point. Love it. I can't wait to go. In the MAC, Buffalo in the lead and Toledo's in the lead, East and West. The Mountain West, Boise State, 3-0 up there.
Baby.
Yeah, it's San Jose State too. They're 2-0. I thought UNLV was going to run it up there, but I just got disappointed, man. That one loss there should have never happened, but they got blown away by San Jose. In the Pac-12, it just gets interesting. USC, UCLA, Oregon, and let's include Utah there because there's some battles going on there. We're going to talk about these teams in our picks, but I'm surprised UCLA is up there.
I can't believe USC is still undefeated. It's annoying me now.
It's annoying you? I'm sorry to hear that.
Lincoln Riley doesn't deserve this.
And the SEC, Georgia Bulldogs and the Tennessee Volunteers are in first place. Alabama, Ole Miss. Now, hey, listen, I understand why Alabama's ranked number 3. Look, they could have lost to Texas. They should have lost to the Texas A&M Aggies. Okay, that's 2 games that they're gonna have 2 L's. We wouldn't even be mentioning Nick Saban or the Alabama Crimson Tide anymore. But instead, we still got Alabama. I love Ole Miss, man. I love Ole Miss. I can't wait till Ole Miss and Alabama do play this year, and I just can't wait till that matchup happens. But watch out for Tennessee. I know Tennessee's facing Alabama. But if I was Georgia, I'd be careful with that game because they will cross paths in a couple of weeks. Sunbelt, Coastal Carolina, and South Alabama, and respectively, on top. And that leads us to second down. Actually, I can't do second down because I forgot to say.
Oh yeah.
Don't believe the hype, huh? You ready for this?
About it. Yeah.
Oh man, you sure you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. The hype is
here.
building.
Here we go. Alabama is on a verge to miss the college football playoffs.
A one-loss Alabama team will still make the postseason, no doubt about it. It's designed for that.
I tell you that's not going to happen. Should they lose this weekend? Should they lose? I mean, there's a reason why they got dropped to number 3.
Right, because they didn't win 49-0. Alabama's held to a much different standard than even Georgia is, and you know that.
True, but you do know that they could have lost to Texas if Ewers was not hurt. They could have lost to Aggies.
Ask Arkansas what's the difference between SEC football and regular football. 1-3 in the conference.
You can't compare Arkansas.
3-0 outside the conference.
Look, Arkansas gets beat by Alabama every single year. I don't know why people act so surprised. Like, oh my God, Alabama won. They always beat them by 20 points or more. It's history. Check when Arkansas actually did beat Alabama. That's probably when we weren't even alive. But
I'll entertain the question again when Alabama loses.
Fair enough. USC will not play for the Pac-12 championship. You believe the hype? You got UCLA, Oregon, Utah trying to step up. I'm just saying.
No, I think right now, the way they're playing, I got to see something before I decide that they're not going to do it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Ohio State favorite to win it all for the college football playoffs. Will they win it all?
I don't think they're the best team in the Big 12. I think that's Michigan, and I think you're exactly right. And I think for some reason Trevor Keys was mocking your pick.
Oh, yeah.
The defense of Michigan is better than the defense of Ohio State, and the offense is just as good. So do the math. Think Florida, Alabama a couple years ago. You could see that kind of game, and I think the team that's a little better defensively might come out on top. So watch out, Buckeyes.
I tell you what, Michigan did beat Ohio State last season, right? And they still got their player. They're -1 star defender, which is now playing in the NFL. And I think they're playing a lot better in defense. But neither Michigan or Ohio State has been challenged. Okay? Yeah. But it starts this week with Michigan and Penn State. I'm going to tell you that
By the way,
now.
let me correct myself because Ohio State would be the best team in the Big 12. I meant the Big 10.
The Big 10.
I think I uttered the wrong digits afterwards, so.
Nah, it's okay. Well, we'll stick with Ohio State here. C.J. Stroud wins the Heisman. Even though he threw 6 touchdown passes.
Good. He's really good. I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't feel like the guy that's ultimately going to win it. I don't know why.
I think Ohio State always has a great running game. They always have a great running game. I don't think he is the major factor. I think if you replace him with another quarterback, Ohio State would still do the same. I'm not believing it. He is the favorite. We're going to talk about that in the next down on the Heisman hopefuls. And let's talk about coaches here. Should Matt Rule return to coaching in college football? And if so, which team will he replace? Auburn, Nebraska, Wisconsin, or Arizona State?
Yeah, it won't be Arizona State. He's
Why
not
not?
a Nebraska guy. Wisconsin, that seems like a nice fit for him.
You're talking about a coach that left Baylor. I mean, of all colleges, Baylor to coach.
You're
Carolina.
talking a coach who was an absolute failure
He's
in the NFL.
He's
an
not
absolute failure.
You know who failed him? The general manager and the rest of the staff. They failed him because Matt Rule had it good in Baylor, turned that college around after all the discrepancies and so much that was happening with all the harassment charges, sexual assault allegations, and everything else. He turned that university within a couple of years, okay, did an outstanding job and went to Carolina. I'm just saying, I think that he is a great coach. I just don't think he had the full support.
I think he's a lot of hype. And I think he's got to earn his way back.
Hey, maybe he was not ready for the pros, but he's good in college.
If he was a black coach, he would be in big trouble going from that kind of success to that kind of failure in the NFL. So maybe being a white coach, maybe that will help him get a better gig faster. But I don't know. It didn't seem like they had their stuff together at all. And he doesn't seem like he didn't get the best out of anybody on that roster.
Uh-oh, you hear the whistle?
Getting flagged for that?
Oh, yes, you are. You are again.
Controversial take on the coaching situation. Bring it up the race.
I'm not going to say nothing, but they might be throwing some Tom Brady at you. Oh, man, here we go. Listen, championship odds to win it. Ohio State on top, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson. Listen, in your opinion, who do you think is probably most likely going to win the championship this year?
Alabama.
Ah, man, you're so wrong.
Yeah.
You're so wrong. No.
It might be.
No.
I have to
you're
see something.
Saying it because you're Alabama fan. That's why.
No. You know, I can separate my feelings. Look, this team keeps beating other football teams, and I keep hearing it's close. They almost lost. They might lose this week. And I mean, everybody's kind of, here's what it is, right? Kamara Usman got knocked out after like a 19-fight winning streak. And he was like, it's at the point where everybody was waiting for me to get knocked out. Everybody wants to see Alabama lose. And that's why anytime there's even a game you might think could be competitive, Alabama doesn't have to destroy every team. Alabama can just win football games like everybody else can. And I don't know. That should just be okay.
I think this year they just look like any other average college football team. You're not going to get the Mac Jones and Devontae Smith and everybody else that was a graduate during that time.
Inevitably, what you're talking about is this football team has more of the top talent of 5-star recruits than any program in the country. Okay.
True.
Only Ohio State and only USC and Georgia are even close to having as many 5-star recruits.
But do you notice the change though? Did you notice the change with the transfers, portals, the Neils, and everything else? Now it's making a big difference.
I'm gonna be addressing that afterwards because look, that's what my whole thing about is here with Nick Saban. Look, it is more parity than we've seen in a while, and that's good for the sport. And everybody thinks so, except for Nick Saban. That said, he still has more talent and better football players than anybody else, including Georgia. Georgia can skate by teams week after week, and that's fine. Alabama does it. They tumble in the ratings. Give me a break. Also,
that's the reason why I dropped them from number one.
Bryce Young hopping on one leg over Stetson Bennett and CJ Stroud.
Oh, talk about CJ Stroud and DraftKings. He is in the lead at with the bidding of -130. But the 3-4 people that I'm gonna mention, Hendon Hooker jumped from the bottom and now he's in second. How about that? And he has a lot to prove because if Tennessee do beat Alabama, Hendon Hooker will pass CJ Stroud. I'm going to tell you that right now. Caleb Williams falls down. Bryce Young, of course, he was injured, did not play. But I'm just noticing Jalen Daniels is out of the top 10. I'm very surprised on that because, yeah, he's going to miss some time, but Bryce Young's missing some time too. I'm just curious why. If anything, I'll put Blake Corum in front of Bryce Young. Blake Corum is like the MVP. Without him, Michigan won't be where they're at right now.
So you got to understand that this is Bryce Young's award to lose.
He's not going to win. Tell me, the last person that won back-to-back was in the 70s. There's no one that has won back-to-back.
This is set up for Bryce Young to win it.
I doubt it. I'm
Straight
sorry.
up. Dude, that's
Why didn't that Tebow? Why didn't Tebow win back to back? He was in the run too, and he didn't win.
They didn't want him to win it. They're totally behind the Bryce Young machine. So it doesn't matter if Bryce Young misses a game because he's like a next level. He's the number one quarterback in the country.
You could cancel that when Tennessee beats Alabama.
Listen, I'm telling you, Hendon Hooker's my guy, and they're going to lose a close game to Alabama, but he's going to wake up the country because he's going to single-handedly keep Tennessee in that football game, a game they lose right at the down to the wire. They come up short, but Hendon Hooker gets everyone's attention, respect. They run the table. He plays great. He wins the Heisman.
All right, well, then Bryce Young will have to throw like 3 touchdown passes in the first half, and then it'd be 21-0. I'll be like, damn, here we go again.
Probably.
All right, it's time for third down. Here we go. Now, I already gave my top 25 this weekend, so if you missed it, by all means, go ahead and go on the YouTube channel, hit that play button, and you can hear my top 25, but I'm going to focus on my top 10 right here. So we have Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, USC, and UCLA. Okay. Ole Miss deserves to be there. As a matter of fact, they could be even close to being top 5. All right. Oklahoma State, I don't know what's up with that team right now. They're winning, but not as to how they started the season. UCLA made a big jump at number 10. I'm telling you right now, I'm all in for UCLA. Chip Kelly's got that team the way he wants it, similar to when he was coaching Oregon. It's nothing but speed in that team. And many people are failing to realize the talent that UCLA Bruins have. And watch out, USC, because you will be playing UCLA later down this season. That will be your upset if you're not losing to Utah.
Lincoln Riley doesn't know this yet, but Chip Kelly's living his life 10 years in the future.
Well, check this out. Oklahoma State plays TCU, and USC will be playing against Utah. We'll be talking about those 2 games on the next down. Here's my top 6 here. Alabama facing Tennessee. Georgia, it's almost kind of like a bye week, but then again, Georgia's being suspect because if they couldn't handle Kent State, who knows what could happen with Vanderbilt.
Did you buckle under Trevor Keyes' pressure and change Ohio State and Michigan?
No, I did not. And here's why.
You buckled.
I did not buckle. Every week, if you notice that Michigan and Ohio State are jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. Michigan wins this weekend. They're going to go on top of Ohio State because Ohio State ain't playing nobody.
I didn't know you buckled because earlier said I agree with you that Michigan, I think, should be ahead of Ohio State. And you agreed with me because you didn't want to admit then that you buckled.
I did not buckle, though.
You got Michigan 4th. That's a buckle.
Don't twist my top 25, my top 5. Listen.
By the way, your top 10 spot on, and I love it, except for you should have stayed with what you had. Michigan is 3, Ohio State's 4. And that's are you implying after they win this week and Ohio State doesn't play that they'll slide back ahead?
Absolutely. Who knows? Now, Michigan might go up to number 2.
Here's why we have a problem. Let's just say Bama loses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Georgia loses.
Then I guess the Big Ten is going to be in the top 1 and 2s, right?
But the way you have it set up now, you've got to put Ohio State 1.
I don't have to.
You're going to have Michigan jump 4-1.
So what you're saying is Michigan's playing Penn State, a ranked opponent.
Yeah.
Which I have at number 11.
Football team, by the way.
And,
very good team.
And should Michigan do beat Penn State, why should they still be under Ohio State? Right there, you already proved to me that you handled a top 25 team, which Ohio State, you're going to include what? Notre Dame? Is Notre Dame ranked, by the way?
No.
Nah, not anymore.
Outie.
They're out. So don't include Notre Dame if that is your excuse. I'm just saying after this weekend. Now, if Penn State will win, that's a different story. We won't even be having this conversation. but it's going to be interesting to see what plays out at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday on Fox. I can't wait. This should be the game of the week. Also, Tennessee. If Tennessee was to surpass Alabama, how we compare Tennessee and Ohio State? I'm just saying, how we're going to compare those two teams when Tennessee has the most plays in the top 25.
Well, I could tell you right now, Tennessee hasn't been good since 1995 to 1998. So let's be honest. They're not exactly a big brand of football anymore, are they? If, let's say,
good now,
Michigan loses, let's say Bama loses, let's say Vandy somehow upsets Georgia, Ohio State would definitely be number one and Tennessee would be number two.
Fair enough. We'll see.
I don't think Ohio State deserves it, but that's the brand. And if they don't have Bama up there, they would certainly want Georgia or Ohio State. That's not going to be Tennessee.
I did say before preseason started that the two teams to make it to the finals is Alabama versus Ohio State. I'm now maybe changing my mind. It looked good on paper, but now the action's happening right now. So I think a new era is starting to happen. And then you'll be surprised should the college football expansion happen for next season. Then it really doesn't matter, right? But for now, you got to respect Alabama, man. They're winning. They're winning. And without Bryce Young, you can't. If Bryce Young was playing last week, would they have been in that situation?
No. Listen, I'll tell you right now, whether Bryce Young plays or not, Alabama can win ugly. Mm-hmm. They're a good enough football team to win ugly. And like I said, look, they've got great talent on that football team, and Nick Saban will tap into somebody or something. The kid, Jalen Milroe, whatever his name was, didn't really do too much to inspire much confidence. Like you said, though, I think if Bryce Young can throw the football, Bryce Young's in the game. Bama can
gotta have that power, man.
Yeah, again, short passes, things like that. They'll. I mean, if the Giants could beat the Packers and Daniel Jones is hopping on one leg, I think Bryce Young can get it done. Although, look, again, I will say, dude, I think Hendon Hooker is exceptional. I watched all of Tennessee's game last week because I just think this guy's spectacular. So Alabama's got their work cut out for them this week. They got a really tough opponent at a really bad time with an injured quarterback. So it's not an ideal situation. But if Alabama wins, then everybody needs to shut their mouth.
Absolutely. I got you. I got you. But they got to win.
Yeah,
they got to win big against Tennessee. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's going to be the biggest upset. People are just going to talk about Hooker and Hooker. That's it.
How great would it be if he blows them out? It's like 35-10.
Tennessee over Alabama. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The drum is playing right now.
I love this.
Penn State versus Michigan. Who you got?
Oh, Michigan. Michigan's defense is really, really good. I mean, it really is. They've given up like 40-something points. Like, they're good. And I like Penn State. This is one of the best Penn State teams we've seen in quite a few years, but they're not going to beat this Michigan team. I do think they're the class of the Big Ten, and they might be one of the best teams in the country.
Look, if this game was at Penn State, I would have said Penn State with all the white towels and everything else, but we're going to see nothing but yellow in Michigan. So give me Michigan. They'll be 4-0. Moving on to Minnesota and Illinois. Illinois is getting hot right now. Minnesota, man, big disappointment for that one loss that they received. But I'm telling you what, I like Illinois, man. I'm taking Illinois at home.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. Michigan's defense has given up 68 points. It's Minnesota that's given up 44. That's a really good defensive football team. I think they're the ones that should have cracked the top 25 and not Illinois. I'm going to take Minnesota on the road over the Fighting Illini.
Remember, Minnesota was in the top 25. They have suffered that loss and got out of the top 25. So you taking Minnesota, I'm taking Illinois. We're moving on to Alabama and Tennessee, which is the game of the week, alongside with Penn State and Michigan. I'm taking Tennessee with the upset. And if the spread is bigger than 7, I'm taking the points and everything else that goes with it. That is the total package. 3-0 for Tennessee in the SEC. I know who you picking.
Yeah, Bama going to win the football game. Like I said, it's not going to be pretty, and maybe they'll even get penalized for not crushing Tennessee, which, again, is a really good football team. But bottom line is Alabama still has a better defense than Tennessee, and I think that's what's going to win.
You know what? The only way Alabama's going to win when they in favor of the referees penalizing because they touch Bryce Young. Just like in the NFL, you just can't touch Tom Brady. You can't touch Bryce Young.
Well, you know what's up now.
Oklahoma State and TCU.
Boy, foolish me for being so big on Oklahoma earlier this season. I'm not going to get fooled by the great state of Oklahoma again. TCU is playing really great football. Oklahoma State is always ranked higher than they should be. I think this is the game where they lose. They'll end up in the teens by the time all is said and done, probably with 2 losses. I think TCU might be a legit team here. They got to beat Oklahoma State first, and then maybe I'll start saying some crazy things. But I don't know, this TCU team, I think people are kind of looking at everybody else, but I don't know. I think that's
Look, I know TCU beat Kansas, which was a close game, but how much of a close game can they handle again when they face Oklahoma State? I'm taking Oklahoma State in this game.
Don't doubt the Duggan, baby.
NC State versus Syracuse. This is interesting because this is the first test that Syracuse Orangemen will face this season. Being ranked in the top 25, going to a much veteran college that's been there and have battles with Clemson, NC State. Who you got, baby? Who you got?
Dude, I don't know. Garrett Schrader's like legit, man, for the Qs. They're at home. I feel like has this program turned the corner back to relevancy?
Is this called the Carrier Dome, right? It's called the Carrier Dome, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that the same stadium that holds like almost 80,000 people?
Yeah.
80,000 with the orange towels going all the way, and it looked like fruity oranges. Yes,
sir.
I'm with you. I am taking Syracuse with that momentum.
We're going with the Qs.
Yes.
Sean Tucker going to run all day on NC State, too. Watch out for the orange, baby.
USC versus Utah. I already called it earlier. You guys know I'm about to be a hater flag right now, but I am taking Utah at home. They're in 4-2, very frustrated how their season is happening. They're going to take their anger on USC. Give me Utah with the upset. Bye-bye, USC.
Man, I've gotten burned twice by Utah this season. So I'm going to say Utah lets me down, falls out of the top 25, and this nonsense life of Lincoln Riley's moves on for another week.
All right. Mississippi State versus Kentucky. A good SEC battle, but I'm going to stick with Will Rogers. He's going to make it happen. I know Kentucky got that deep, but that defense is not going to be enough to stop Mississippi State. Mississippi State wins on the road and defeats Kentucky.
Yeah, I can see why you're going there.
The number 1 quarterback in the nation, man. This guy leads in passing yards. You can't doubt it. And completion percentages. You got to give it to him. And I only say that because of the amount of passes he's been thrown. I got it that Hendon Hooker got a better percentage, but Mississippi State got this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Their head coach, hey, Mike Leach is still talking about giving advices for weddings and stuff. Why not?
Well, here's the deal. I mean, the 2 losses, they gave up 24 and 22 points. The defense is good. At home, I'm going to say Kentucky wins a close game here. 23-20. So, yeah, sorry, Kentucky takes it.
All right. Old Dominion versus Carolina.
Will Levi needs a signature win, and this is the one he gets.
All right. Old Dominion versus Coastal Carolina. I'm taking Coastal Carolina on this one.
I will also take Coastal Carolina, and I got to tell you, I'm really disappointed that Coastal Carolina has gotten no respect. Grayson McCall is a fantastic quarterback. He's done amazing things with this program in the last 3 years, and James Madison is representing the Sun Belt, ranked 25th. What a joke. What does this team have to do for people to take them seriously other than run the table like they do every freaking year?
They've been ranked in the top 25 the last 2 seasons. I'm surprised they're not up there.
How disrespectful with the
They're
same
6-0, 3-0 in the Sun Belt, and the Sun Belt Conference got victories over the Power 5. I don't get it. I'm get it at all.
This is going to be the year where I'm going to be screaming for the old Chandeliers to get in on this, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games to go. James Madison's the only game they got to worry about. I mean, they're going to probably run the table, be undefeated again with a third-year junior quarterback who's been starting since he was come on, give me a break.
It's all right. It's going to be all right. Nebraska versus Purdue. And I'm surprised. I'm saying Nebraska, which made my list. Nebraska's 2-1 in the Big Ten versus Purdue, 2-1 in the Big Ten. And both of them, the winner of this game will be in first place.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Nebraska's little fairy tale run comes to an end. Purdue gonna run them over.
I got Purdue also, but then again, Purdue always plays good against ranked opponents and somehow falls against non-ranked opponents. I don't understand Purdue. They were supposed to be the spoiler makers, not the boiler makers. I have no idea. But Purdue better not upset me this weekend, because I am taking Purdue. And lastly, Louisiana Tech versus North Texas. This is the battle of the top of the Conference USA. I am taking North Texas to beat Louisiana Tech.
I will take North Texas only because North Texas is at home, and I had a thing with them a few years ago on the NCAA 12.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You need to stop playing video games.
It was NCAA 12 to give you an idea of how long ago that was.
Xbox 360, huh? Hey, this show is brought to you by CMG Central. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, CMG Central. Well, All Four Downs is a part of the organization. Also, I am here weekly, Sundays, giving you my top 25. And of course, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the live show. It's All Four Downs. Joe Aguirre and Ovi Muniz, myself, we are down. We're
Make sure you watch when he does
football.
his top 25, because if you weigh in, he might buckle and switch some teams around.
Oh, get out of here. I did not buckle. I did not do it for the Keys to the City, which is another podcast at CMG Central. So tune into their channel right here in the YouTube channel, CMG Central, every week. What day on? Fridays? Thursdays or Fridays?
Yeah, Friday and Tuesday.
All right, fair enough. I know they're celebrating with their Yankees winning in baseball, even though I'm a hater, but it's all good. But
you're not a Mets fan.
Huh?
Said at least you're not a Mets fan.
Oh man. 101 games and out.
2 aces, huh? Whew.
2 aces. This sounds like what's gonna happen to Alabama this weekend. Bryce Young and Nick Saban, baby. But speaking about Nick Saban, you are anxiously to get ready for this final whistle about Nick Saban, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
Let's do it. So Nick Saban can shut his mouth already, and I say that with all due respect. It was Nick Saban who said the transfer portal would lead to parity, that the rich would get richer by poaching from struggling programs. Meanwhile, Saban himself took 6 players from struggling programs, and obviously Alabama is once again the best team in the country. God forbid it's not all about Bama. The fear was that players would leave Division II programs for the Power 5 conferences and not just go to the best programs, but that's exactly what happened. And despite that, 10 ranked teams fell to unranked teams 2 weekends ago in a season that's been full of upsets. The transfer portal does work. It lets the kids determine their own future, and it's created the most parity in college football history. But the richest of the rich still rule the day, just like Nick Saban wanted. Thank you for watching. We're back next Wednesday night for All 4 Downs.